Welcome to Raising Healthy Families with Moms, Meat, and Kiwi. We're giving you the tools to enjoy the beauty and chaos of life with little ones in the healthiest way possible.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maureen Frost, editorial director of Kiwi Magazine, one of your Raising Healthy Families hosts, and a mom of two.
Hi, I'm Krista Kissinger, Chief Mom Ambassador and a mom of three.
Hi, everyone. I'm Becca Slocum, one of your new Raising Healthy Families hosts and a mom of two. I'm so excited to join you guys today.
So today we are going to try to figure out together as a group how to be more present with our kids.
That's the million dollar topic.
So here we go.
This episode is brought to you by Country Life Natural Foods. With two kids, mealtime is hectic at my house, so I'm always looking for ways to simplify the cooking process while still feeding my family healthy foods. Country Life Natural Foods has so many options to elevate and simplify your meals. We love their instant cheese mix because it's quick to prepare and makes the best vegan mac and cheese ever. My mac and cheese obsessed kids love how rich and creamy it is. My husband and I also love Country Life's red lentil curry. I've always been intimidated to try making curry at home because of all the ingredients, but with Country Life's, literally all you have to do is pour the bag of red lentil curry mix into a pot with water to boil, then simmer, and serve it over rice and veggies. There are so many other amazing options like the classic scramble seasoning or the vegan Parmesan, and even Country Life's slow bake and small batch Haven granolas. You cannot go wrong. Use the code MOMSMEAT for $10 off your first purchase of $50 or more on any products at countrylifefoods.com. Offer expires January 1st, 2023.
Okay, so first I was wondering if we could all just give ourselves like a little honest assessment of how we are doing right now in this current phase of our lives of being present with our kids. Becca, do you want to start?
I would love to. I think it's something that we talk about a lot in our house and we try really hard to focus on, but there's a lot of days that go by that I'm like, I think I could have done a much better job of like setting everything else aside and just dedicating time to my kids. So like I said, we talk about it, but not every day can be perfect.
Yeah, I totally agree. You try, but it's rarely perfect. What about you, Chrissy?
I would say that on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm probably at like a 3, a 4. I really do. It's funny. I notice myself being more present with my kids when I'm not in my house. Like if I'm in my house, I'm like looking around at all the things that I need to get done. So if I'm taking them outside of the house or doing activities with them, then I feel like I'm doing great. But when we're in the house, it's really hard to not get, distracted by all the mom things that need to happen.
I would totally agree with that. I'm good when we're on outings for sure. And then when we are home, you have chores to do. You have all these different things. You're tired. You want to rest. There's just a lot of different things that pull you in different directions. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm doing the worst at it. I don't know what number I would give myself. Definitely lots of room for improvement. That's probably what I'd say. But yeah, I mean, we're busy. Parents are busy, and that's the problem. It's just there's never not. My husband and I say this all the time. There's never not something that you should be doing as far as your house, cooking, cleaning, giving the kids a bath, like watering your plants. Like there's a list always. There's always a list, and so it makes it really hard to be present. So,
well, and now that we're like kind of talking through it too, it is I'm remembering like this past summer, all the trips that we took. Even when I'm outside the house, it's hard to be present because if you think about like you're on a vacation, I'm the one that's always planning out what we're doing the next day or, like just figuring out plans. And so it's hard. And also my personality is not very much like go with the flow. And that's fine. Like you can be a type A and still be present with your kids, but there's just a lot going on in the mom brain.
Yep.
It's never ending.
Yeah, it is. It unfortunately it's not. So, I'm glad that I'm not the only one though. It's nice to be in good company.
Yeah. So I will admit that my biggest problem with not being present is my phone. And I'm sure most people can relate to that. So one of the big things like my big pitfalls at the end of the day, because you're just so tired from whatever you did that day. Even if I didn't work, I'm tired. Like,
Mhm.
I just, I want to sit there and relax after dinner on the couch, and my kids are watching whatever little show they're watching that is, not interesting to me. But, and then I pick up my phone, but I don't like that, because then I'm not connecting with them and it's really hard. But then you're also just like, oh, I just need a break for myself. And how do you rectify like needing a break for yourself, but also trying to connect with your kids in that family time that you have at night, the little bit of family time that you have? And so, do you guys struggle with this too?
I mean, we definitely do in our house. My husband and I both are like big phone people. We'll like
Mhm.
sit down and just be like, I want to zone out. I'm going to tune out from everything. So, what we've started trying to do, not saying that this always is the case, but we have like dedicated offline hours at home. So, like, once we're both done finished work, we'll sit down with the girls and we'll be like, okay, for the next like hour, no one touches their phone. We do like family walks. We'll make sure we're playing with the girls. Dinner time is another big one. I learned that growing up and I have stuck by it as I've become a mom myself. I'm like, there is no phones at the dinner table and we do not have the TV on. So it's just like one time during the day where we can all just be together with no outside technology. It works when it works, and when we actually stick to it, but it's a matter of sticking with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. I'm really big about no phones at the dinner table. And also like it's unless, it's tough during the week if there's like sports and all of that, but it's a big goal of mine that we all actually sit down at one table and eat together.
Mhm.
Because, that's the only time that I can really connect with all three or all four of five of I think it's four of us. I don't know. I'm losing count. All of us, at the end of the day, like, and we talk about our highs and lows of the day. And I feel like when you have a phone or any tech piece, right? Like to back to your point, like even the TV can be distracting.
Mhm.
It just takes away from any connection that you're going to have. Um, my other thing that I'm really not great at, and my goal is to get better, is to really be aware of like putting my phone down when I'm doing activities with my kids. And I
Mhm.
mean, Maureen, you mentioned like doing a family movie night where the movie is just terrible. And I'm like sitting there, oh man, I could be doing a million things. And it's honestly like for me, it's not even I'm not sitting there scrolling on social media. I'm like ordering my groceries or doing something
Yeah.
else that I need to do. But then like I'll look up and like myself and my husband, we're both on our phones,
Yep.
and then the kids are watching, and I'm just like, what's the point? Why are we even this isn't a family movie night,
Yeah.
um, even like at the park, like sometimes I'll let my kids go and play and I'll sit there on my phone and I'm like, I should be playing with them. Um, and
Yeah.
my other big component too, I know everyone is different, but my kids, we don't have iPads or like devices for them. Owen has a Nintendo Switch, but he doesn't really use that all that much. But it is helpful because then we're not like the family movie night, we all have to agree on the same movie, which is definitely probably takes longer than watching the movie itself.
Yeah.
um, but really trying to and you know what, if they did have devices, that's totally fine. I would just put a limit on when and how long they could
Yeah.
use them. Do either one of your kids have devices?
We
So,
don't. Oh, sorry.
Declan,
Go
I
ahead,
hope
Lauren.
you're not listening. You are getting a Kindle Fire for your birthday in a couple of weeks. But my husband and I have already been clear on like when that's actually going to be used. And really, we're really going to give it to him for long car rides.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of friends in Pennsylvania, so that's like a 2-hour drive, and he can watch something half the time, take a nap the other half of the time. But it'll be interesting because he's going to want to have it at all times, but we're not going to
Mm-hmm.
allow it. So boundaries be set, and that's that. But yeah, we're about to be a family like that. But I
No, and there's
agree,
nothing
like
wrong
we
with
should
that
all
though.
watch the same thing together. Like that's the point. Like and when they're older, it'll be a little bit different, but he's 4, so it's just like a means to an end, really, to help him through a long car ride.
Yeah. It is funny though, having conversations. So my oldest is 9 and he like truly cannot wrap his mind around the fact that I didn't have a cell phone until I was like in high school. I
Yeah.
didn't have my first smartphone until I graduated college. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't, like he just can't. And he's always asking me now, like, when can I get a phone? And that's a whole other conversation of
Yeah.
when our kids are ready to get phones. But I want, to the best of my ability, to try to model the best behavior with
Yeah.
the use of my phone or any technology, in front of my kids, because they'll, I know that they're going to turn around and just be glued to their technology at some point in their lives. So
It's true.
it is tough though. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I always struggle beyond the tech piece too. Like we work full time, and the weekends, the 2 days on the weekends are the only time that I have to get things done that I need to get done. And so I don't know about the two of you, but I really struggle with like the healthy balance of getting things checked off my to-do list and also doing stuff with the kids, right? Like it's either I'm just spending a whole day I could spend all day every day doing stuff in my house, right? But
Mm-hmm.
trying to find that balance of getting the things that I need to get done and also implementing fun with my kids is super hard. Do you guys feel the same way?
Oh, I like wholeheartedly agree. And we're in a phase where my girls are both still young. They're turning 2 next month. So it's really tricky to give them the attention that they need, but also make sure that my house doesn't look like a bomb went off every single day. So I've tried to figure out just like really small ways that I can involve them in some of the really boring day-to-day chores that we have. So like for instance, they both love putting laundry into the dryer when I'm switching the clothes out. So that's something that I'm like, okay, we can do this together. It's not always the quickest way to get it done, but it's a way that they can still feel like they're involved and I'm still like playing with them, if you will. So just kind of trying to find little things at home that I can still get my stuff done that I need to get done, but involve them at the same time.
I love
Yeah.
that. I never thought of doing that, but that's a really great idea.
It's not the most efficient way of getting
I
things
know you
done,
have to
but it
really let
works.
go of the control. That's how I feel
Yeah.
like if I'm
Yeah.
baking and, Olivia wants to help, I'm like, oh, okay, you can help, but I know these cookies are going to look like,
Yeah.
like mashed potatoes.
It's tough, and I'm already like, I feel like I'm already learning that. It's like, okay, where can I just like take a step back and let them be kids and still be involved without losing it over mashed potatoes, cookies.
How about you, Maureen? Do you have any good tips or tricks?
So yeah, my husband and I, it's always like, do we clean the house or do we do something as a family? And the house always needs to be clean. The floors are always dirty no matter what. I feel like we segment out our days. So our kids are very regimented at this age. We have a routine because they still have naps. So it's kind of like we have free family time in the morning, lunch, nap, free time in the afternoon. So what we could try to do is work in those chores and those tasks when they're kind of sleeping or napping or something, or maybe eating or occupied somewhere. But we always do, like, there's never like a day where we're not like on the weekend, if we're all together doing a family activity. Like that's priority number one. We either go for walks in the morning or anything like that. We have some sort of family activity to start the day. And then we kind of like all take the kids to the playground and my husband will clean the house. Something like that. So we just try to like, divide and conquer really. But I also give my kids, I bought them a mini vacuum last year, like one of those mini vacuums. And they also have the broom set and the sweeping stuff, but like my son uses it as a weapon. So that had to go. But like they love to vacuum when we're vacuuming. So it's cute. I do love that. I do feel like giving them responsibility also boosts their self-confidence too, and lets them like understand like cooperation and what has to get done in the house. And it's good. We've started to also like make them help. Well, not my youngest, but my 4-year-old, like, okay, you dumped out those toys. You're cleaning up those toys.
Yeah. That's something I also struggle with too, is like not just cleaning up their mess because it's quicker and easier to do it
Yeah.
myself, right? Like teaching them and making them do it. But I feel like I'm in such a weird stage because, she's taking naps. So she's taking probably like the long 2-hour naps on the weekends now. So during that time, I'm like, that's really the only time I can get any cleaning or laundry or whatever done. But then then my older two are just kind of hanging out, and they're old enough now. Well, they'll play with the neighborhood kids and things like that. Like, it's not like they're just sitting around, but it is really, hard to to make sure that I'm dedicating time for each kid too, and doing something that they each want to do. They all have different interests too. So it's like, I don't know. It's definitely tough trying to find that time of spending with them, but also getting some stuff done. But I do love the idea of the cleaning tools. That's such a cute idea. I don't think I could. I don't think my 9-year-old would be into it as much. Although it is one of his chores to actually vacuum, like use a real vacuum in the family room. So sometimes we'll do that, but yeah, the cleaning tools is a really cute idea. It might be on my Christmas list this year.
Yeah,
for
even
them.
better. I mean, he's old enough, Owen's old enough that he can actually do the vacuuming. I love that.
Yep.
And just give the little kids little like dust rags and get them going.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know. I love it. I think during like peak COVID, we were into like all we could do is clean because what else is there to do? And Olivia, I think she was probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 at the time. I'm not even kidding you, went through like half. I wasn't paying attention. She went through half like a container of like Clorox bleach wipes, like because she would use like a little piece and then like get a new one and use.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, okay, you still need to be supervised.
Yeah.
I was laughing when you mentioned, Chrissy, about, you want to model good behavior for your kid with your phones. And I was thinking about that as we're having this conversation. And I'm like, okay, every single time either of my girls gets like a rag or any form of cloth in their hands, they immediately start wiping down any surface that they're near. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are they doing this because I do that constantly? So it's funny what they pick up on, but I guess I'm raising little neat freaks as well, so I'll take it.
That's
Well,
good.
and also the dynamic between the girls and the boys is very different too, right? Like, I don't know if you've experienced this yet, Maureen, with Declan and Delaney, but Owen is definitely very different in terms of, what he, Olivia, she loves folding laundry and putting it away. Owen's room looks like a college frat house half the time. Like, so really trying to like implement and like let them know it's super important to take care of your things. But again, bringing it back to maybe that's how we spend time together, is we all kind of meet in the middle of, you're going to help me do my chores and then we're going to do something fun together that you want to do. So
yeah. I mean, because it's real life too. Not everything can just be fun. You have to actually get your responsibilities done as well. This is timeout. I'm going to go down and talk about how to share your time with when you have multiple kids, Chrissy, because you brought that up, and then we'll kind of go in the advice section.
Okay.
I feel like that flows better. I'm going to move that up.
You left a sentence.
Oh shoot.
Sorry that I
no,
went
that's
out
good.
of
okay
line there.
Good. And where are we? Oh, up here. Okay, so Chrissy, another thing that you just touched on was how to share your time when you have multiple kids, and now you have 3, and Becca and I both have 2, and that is a struggle because they all deserve your undivided attention, but like you also have to watch them and keep them safe.
Yeah.
Becca, what do you do in this situation?
So I feel pretty fortunate in this situation. I have twins, so same age, and it's very easy to entertain them both at the same time because for right now, they both still have similar interests. So I can just sit down and do a puzzle with both of them. It does get tricky with like there are times when Penny gets a little bit jealous of Tilly, and I have to like kind of regroup and refocus what we're working on. But for me, I don't have the struggle of, having two different age children where one wants to go outside and maybe throw around a football, and the other one wants to do like baking inside with mom. So, and Chrissy, I think I'm describing your kids in this situation. So, how do you navigate having the two with two different interests?
Yeah. That's a great question. We had there a couple weeks ago, we had like literally 5 days of rain, nonstop rain. And it got to the point, and the throwing the football like is truly my life, right? Like I actually had a guy walking down the street the other day and looked at me, and was like, "You nice arm." I was like, "This is okay. What is happening right now?" But we were actually out like in the pouring rain throwing the football back and forth because he had been asking me all day. And you can only say no to your kids so many times. And I knew it was important to him. But I'm really big on dating your kids. And doing things that really speak to them. So I'm going to jump into in a moment about the 5 love languages for your kids, but really knowing your kids and knowing what they enjoy doing. So, like with Owen or no, with Olivia, I know it would speak to her heart just to go like get some ice cream because my girl likes her ice cream like her mama. And with Owen, I'd probably take him out to like dinner, right? Because he really enjoys that one-on-one time of like sharing a meal and having conversations. Or even just like I mentioned, like going out and throwing the football with him, or also dividing and conquering with your partner. So on days that I'm taking Owen somewhere, maybe Mark can take Olivia somewhere. And obviously we're not there yet with Charlie and doing one-on-one things with her, but yeah, it's really hard because if I'm taking on out to dinner, Olivia's going to be like, "Well, why can't I come?" Right? She doesn't understand that. But I do think giving that one-on-one attention really is important from time to time. Now that you have 2 at different ages, Maureen, what do you do with this?
Yeah, so I felt like that was the most important thing that we did when our youngest was born, was take our oldest out on individual dates, because he was like, "What is going on? Like, who is this?
Mhm.
What is this little child baby doing here?" So yeah, I agree. And I feel like we've fallen off from doing that, and we really need to do more of it. Taking them out for one-on-one special time is so important because they're just kind of always used to being together now. Like
Mhm.
they're a package deal these days, although my son is in school, so it's a little bit different. But like, it's funny, my daughter will be 2 in December, but she and I had like our first mom daughter day, like morning together, just a couple of weeks ago when Declan went to school, because if I'm home watching the kids, I'm watching both of them. So it was just kind of
Mhm.
crazy, like, oh my gosh. So I took her for a bike ride on the boardwalk. I'm trying to do special things with her on the days that he's in school. But yeah, that's really important. That makes him feel special. So
I would definitely recommend too, if you have the ability to do this, is really leaning on grandparents too, because like I know my son loves to spend time like one-on-one time with my parents, and they spoil him out the wazoo, right?
mhm.
So if he's with them for the day, then that gives me one-on-one time with Olivia, or with
Yeah.
now I'm outnumbered at this point with 3 kids, but Charlie just comes along for the ride at this point, but but it
Third
does.
child
And
problems. Yeah.
yeah, oh, for sure. But yeah, it is nice. Like they feel it's a special kind of treat for them too, to spend the day with their grandparents. I'm very fortunate that I have my parents around, and
Yeah.
my husband's mom is around too. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that too.
We also have that built into, like, Declan actually stayed overnight at my mother-in-law's house on Friday night because Tom and I went away for the night. And he was so excited. He got so spoiled, and it was great. So he had his special time and loved every second of it. So I totally agree. If you have a network that you can use it to help.
Uh-huh, for sure.
So one of the things that actually I think has helped me a lot kind of figure out how to be as purposeful and as productive as I can in giving my kids undivided time is there's two different individuals that I think do this really well and explain it really well, because it's really not possible to give our kids our full attention at all times. We just went through why.
Mhm.
And I've really related to the idea of giving them undivided attention for a short period of time every day, or every day that you can. You strive for something and then you do the best that you can. So Ibn Sandal, who is the Danish Way of Parenting founder, author, she actually spoke at last year's WOW Summit. She talks about the 9 most important minutes of the day for you and your kids to connect. So it's 3 minutes after they wake up in the morning, 3 minutes after they get home from school or daycare, and 3 minutes before they go to bed at night. So it's really the perfect time to give them like all of the love and attention, and to really use those time periods to make a positive connection with them. So I take that to heart every morning, even when my son is coming into our room when it's still dark out and he's bringing his swords and his, I don't even, music toys and like wearing a costume already. I'm always like, give me a hug. Like, how did you
Mhm.
sleep? Like, how are you doing? Like, just making sure that they realize that they're special, you're happy to see them and things like that.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Yeah. I really love that method. I've heard it framed in different ways
mhm,
before. But when you look at it and you think about it that way, it's like that is 9 minutes of your entire day. You
Mhm.
can
mhm,
you can take 3 minutes in the morning and just dedicate all of your energy and your love to your kids for just those 3 minutes, and it's probably, to us, we're like, all right, 3 minutes, that's nothing, but to them that could mean like the world to them when they're,
Mhm.
waking up or going to bed and they get that undivided attention from you. So I really am going to be carrying that forward with me through the rest of my
mhm.
parenting days. I love that.
Yeah, I really like that too. And if you think about it like logically, I know in the morning if I wake up frazzled and I'm just running around and it just puts me in a bad mood, right? But if I have some time to myself or time to like regroup my thoughts or really go through it as calm as possible and as the mornings can be, um it really sets me up for a better day. And same thing going to bed. Like if I'm rushing around and I'm just not happy going to bed, then I
Mhm.
usually wake up in a bad mood. So I love that the 3 minutes, they're kind of spaced out through the day, the 3 minutes when they wake up, 3 minutes at the end of the day. And 3 minutes after school or daycare is definitely, I struggle with that one because
Mhm.
usually my kids will walk in and I'm still working,
Yeah.
so it's they throw their book bag down. They're like, okay, I'm going to play with friends. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I would say I use those 3 minutes during dinner instead, because
Yeah.
that's kind of when the craziness somewhat dies down and we can kind of breathe and I check in with them and see how their day was. But I love that. And Becca, to your point of like, if you look at it, it's only 9 minutes. Like we can do it,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. Yes, we can. It's very doable. So the other one that I love too is from Kristen and Dina from Big Little Feelings. I don't know if you follow them. They're an amazing resource for parents. And they call it the 10-minute miracle, and basically talk about when your kid is displaying unwanted behavior, what they're really asking for is your attention. And they know that they're going to get it if they're being bad,
Mm-hmm.
because it's still attention even if it's bad attention. So they talk about trying to avoid this and being proactive against it. You should try to fill up their cups with 10 minutes of one-on-one time every day. Give it a special name, let the kid pick the activity, and just no phones, no siblings, no chores. 10 minutes you're doing what that kid wants with them, no distractions. And it really helps with behavior. It helps them feel connected. It helps give them the attention that they crave. And again, 10 minutes, it's easy. You can do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I think
another
it's
one.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're okay. I was just gonna say this is another one that I really love. I follow them religiously, and
Hmm.
it's one of those, again, you go back to it's 10 minutes of your day. I think we can all like take a step back, take a breath, and recognize that we have 10 minutes that you can fully dedicate to your kids. Um, Personally, I do find this one a little bit trickier because, like I said, both my girls are the same age, so it's hard to separate them a lot of the time. But even giving them together that undivided attention and, letting them know, okay, I'm here, you have my attention, let's do what you want to do. I think it's like made a huge impact on the way that, my relationship is developing with my own children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and you could also do, since, they are together a lot, you could do like, okay, I'm going to do 10 minutes. Let's do 10 minutes of something that Tilly wants to do. And then Penny, you can pick the next activity or something like that. And
Yeah.
so, you're all doing it together. I mean, that kind of, it's hard to do one-on-one time when you have twins, when they're the same exact
Yeah.
age,
It is. I think, listening to you guys talk about it though, as they get older, we'll definitely focus on that
Sure.
and giving them their own, like, I want them to know that they are separate people. They're not totally
Mhm.
a package deal.
Mhm.
So as they develop like their own unique interests, but really focusing on them and giving them each their own time together with a parent.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that wording to fill up their cup. I really, because it's super important to understand that they're not just like little beings that are wandering through life. Like they need us to show them some undivided attention. And the more kids you have, the the harder it is to do. And trying to balance out that sibling rivalry too, right? Of them fighting for your attention. I think if you can give each of them 10 minutes a day, then that will help eliminate that.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing too, kind of segueing, I mentioned this a little earlier, is when you are spending that 10 minutes or those 3 minutes, 3 times a day, really meeting your child where their interests lie. And I'm such a huge proponent of the love language, 5 love languages. And so it first came out as like with you and your partner figuring out what your love language is, but they actually have a 5 love languages of kids. And so they have an online quiz that like you can go through with your child, like so it's a fun activity to do. And there's 5, obviously. So it's words of affirmation, gifts, physical touch, quality time, and acts of service. And it's really funny when I like sit down and think of each of my kids. I'm like, oh man, I could probably go either way on a couple of them. But I was just talking to my husband the other night. It's so crazy with Owen. So the other night, he had a big spelling test coming up and I spent one-on-one time with him, probably for like a half hour. We were studying and we were going over it. He was so engaged. He was so happy and he just enjoyed that time. And
Mhm.
another thing he loves to do at night, I'll lay in bed with him. This is so funny. I like did this one time and now he's obsessed with it. So on Pinterest, I just found like 50 questions to ask your kids, like random
Aw.
questions. And I can't ask questions that come in my head. It has to be on Pinterest now. Like he's like, where's those questions? I'm like, can I just ask you questions? I want to know. But it's so crazy to see him open up and like his personality just totally changes. And I know his love language is quality time. Like I know
Mhm.
that about him. I haven't done the quiz yet for Olivia. I think she could be a bunch of different things right now. And I'm sure like as they grow older, it might change for them. But like right now, I think with Olivia, it's definitely physical touch. Like she always wants me to lay in her bed and snuggle with her. And as busy as I am, like at the end of the night, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I love snuggles, but I just want to go downstairs. I always remind myself, like, they're only going to be asking for snuggling
Yeah.
time or like one-on-one time for so long. Like, so when you put it in that perspective, it's a lot easier to take the 10 minutes or even two or
Mhm.
3 minutes of your time. But have you guys done either the quiz or do you know kind of offhand which love language your kids would be?
I mean, I would love to do that quiz. I feel like Declan's quality time, but I must stay in his room to cuddle for like 20. I get trapped in there for like 20 minutes, but probably quality time. He just wants to do stuff together.
Uh-huh.
He's excited and happy to go to Target. He wants to go to the grocery store with you, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. As long as it's with you, he's good. I don't know about Delaney yet. She's probably still physical touch just because of her young age. She
Mm-hmm.
needs me to hold her at all times. She's almost
Mm-hmm.
12.
Becca, I don't know.
I
Is it
am
hard for you to know with your two girls because they're younger, or can you kind of see
no,
what they are?
their personalities came out very fast, and like you said, they could change. But it's funny because I'm like looking at our list of the different love languages, and in my head I'm like, all right, well, yeah, sure, they both like quality time, but like Tilly is the most like lovey. She loves giving kisses, she loves giving hugs, she'll hug a stranger, which I don't know if we love that, but she's a very loving little girl. And it's so funny because most recently, Penny, I feel like, is words of affirmation. Like she'll do something and then she'll look at you and she'll say yes. And I'm like, okay, yes, great job. Or she like just this morning they got dressed and she like came into my office and she has on just a little dress and you could tell she was kind of like she like sauntered in and she was looking for compliments. So I was like, oh, you look so pretty. And she immediately was like glowing. So it's funny
Oh,
because I was like, oh my gosh, is this girl gonna be like, I need that like
uh-huh.
that reassurance, like give
Yeah.
me those words of affirmation. So it's funny and they could change, but for now, I think that's where we're landing.
Yeah, I feel like the gifts one is tough because every kid loves gifts, but
Mhm.
it is really funny. Olivia, we had bought her like we upgraded her to a booster seat for the car. I'm not even kidding you. I ordered it. I think I just ordered it on like Target online, and it was sitting in our foyer, and she got home from school and she was like, thank you so much, mommy. I'm so excited. I was just like, it's a booster seat, but sure, you're welcome. Like it wasn't even a toy or anything, but it brought so much joy to her. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe that's your love language. I don't know. She could be any of them, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It does like, and I don't know. It brings me so much joy when I see them having joy in their hearts too. It's fun to watch that
Yeah. Absolutely.
for
So
sure.
while we are chatting about being present with our kids, I want to also just touch on the reality that taking care of ourselves is also a huge priority. We've talked a lot about how we can be there for them, but we also need to be there for ourselves. If we want to be present, we need to pour. We talked about filling up their cup. We need to pour from a full cup or
Mm-hmm.
whatever for ourselves. And so, like,
Mm-hmm.
in these conversations, like, how do you balance being present for your kids, but also taking care of your needs? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so this one is tough, but it's something that I am very cognizant of because I don't want to like lose myself in the mix of parenting as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um, so on days where I'm feeling very like privileged and lucky, my husband will be like, "Hey, I've got the girls for the afternoon. Why don't you, go get a manicure, go get your hair done, go to the gym, go shop, like anything
Mm-hmm.
that is just going to give me like a couple of hours to myself." So I'm really fortunate enough to have that. But I know that that is not always the case, and there aren't always days that we can run away, and we have those days where we spend 5 extra minutes closed in the bathroom because you just need to take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think a lot of it is just being mindful of feeling that like parental burnout sometimes, and then communicating with whoever you're parenting with, and letting them know like, hey, I need to take a minute. I'm not having a great day. I need to go unwind somewhere for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really good point is just having that open line of communication with your partner because
Mhm.
like I'm really fortunate too where Mark is really good about taking the kids if I need him to or like to your point like he'll just be like, "Okay, do you need to go take like some time to yourself?"
It's usually a
He can kind
parent.
of feel it
Yeah.
coming. But he's also like super good about I'll take like once a year I do a weekend trip away with my girlfriends. This past year well, I brought Charlie with me because I was still nursing her. But he's like super good about that. Like he doesn't care if I go away. I also try to do monthly like early breakfasts with my friends. So I'll do it like I'll wake up before anyone in the house is up. It's like my favorite thing. I feel so old because I'm like there at 7 a.m. when they're opening up, but I love it. Like it charges me up for the day. It gives me time to talk about other things and like kid stuff, right? Um, and again, I try to do that before anyone wakes up too, before the crazy day starts.
Mhm.
But also I've been trying to be better about reading books, and like it's such a joke because when do I have time to do that? But, even though I do this with my kids, it still provides me with like filling up my cup. Like you said, Maureen, I'll sit and while the older two are like reading a book, I'll sit and read my book too. Instead of like scrolling on my phone, I'll sit there and read my book as well. So it's showing them that like reading books is important and you can do it as an adult too. But also so I'm like killing two birds with one stone at that point.
I really love that.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Maureen? What do you do for some me time?
I have to exercise. That's like
Mm,
number
mhm.
one. That's my best me time. And then I like to go shopping. So
Mhm.
send me shopping, allow me to exercise, and that's it. I'm good. I don't get my nails done. I can't sit there. It makes me anxious sitting in a chair for that long. And yeah, I mean, I try to get together with my girlfriends. That's definitely so important, but they live far away. So I'm trying to like figure that balance out now that, we're living where we're living, and I'll have to figure that out, like how to navigate being with friends. And cause that is like so important, but it's not the season where we are. I don't get to see them as much, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Send me out to Home Goods and I'll be good. Let me go to Target.
Right. I will say the one thing I forgot to mention, and I just want to chime in, is that Chrissy, you kind of commented on like that open line of communication with your partner or whoever you're parenting with. And it's funny, my husband is very big into like golf and tennis, and he plays tennis 3 times a week. He golfs once a week, and they are set times, and we know that is happening. And at one point I was like, I can't keep up with this. Like, I'm losing it. And he was like, you need to find a hobby. And so I started taking pottery classes, and now it is like a constant hobby. I go to the studio at least once a week now, but we have those like designated times where we know that like, okay, mom off duty, dad off duty, somebody else needs to step in. And it has done wonders for like both of our mental health, our relationship, our sanity. And I just like come back, and it could even be like an hour away, but I come back home and I'm like, I feel refreshed. I feel good. And it makes me a better parent because I'm happier, and I am able to like come back with a fresh mindset and enjoy more quality time with my kids.
Yeah, I like that. It's scheduled in. You have to go. That's good.
Yeah.
I need more of that in my life because
So do I.
mine gets pushed to my priority is the first to go.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up here a little bit. I feel like we've had some good insight. So like I would like it if we would reassess ourselves from the beginning and really give us like a good idea. Like, I would say for myself, like I feel like I'm doing better than I thought. I do have one area that I mentioned at first, like the tech. That's it. But otherwise, I'm there. I'm present. We've got good one-on-one time. But what do you guys think?
I think for me, it's one of those things where it's like I'm really good at talking the talk. I know what I need to do and focusing on everything, but when it comes time to walk the walk, we're not always there. So I think having this conversation and I'm probably going to go talk to Steve about it later tonight and just, fill him in. Hey, this is what we went over. I think these are some like areas that we could really focus on. I really, really love that 9-minute 3, 3, and 3. I'm totally like gonna go write it down, and I will be doing that every day from here on out because I love it so much. So we're doing okay. I think we're okay. There's always room for improvement.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I was going to mention that 9 or 10 minute piece of the day too. I think that that's my goal, is to just try it out for a week and make it consistent and see how it goes. So I love that.
Yeah. So, all right, everyone, thank you for joining us, and we hope you learned something.
Yeah, thanks so much for tagging along. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss the latest podcast episodes.
Thanks for joining us on our 6th season. We can't wait to continue helping you raise happy and healthy families.
This episode is brought to you in part by iMethod. Envious of those with flawless, symmetrical eyebrows? There's no need to be. You can have them too. With the easy-to-use iMethod Brow Stamp and Shaping Kit, you can have better-looking brows in seconds. Instantly outline, define, and fill in your brows no matter how much or little hair you have. With 8 color options, any skin tone can benefit from this product. You don't have to be a makeup expert to have great brows and feel beautiful. iMethod Beauty proves it.